the ancient Egyptians actually got their own translations wrong down the line. Now, if you look here, you'll see that Ra, which we know was Marduk, in this description here, that he had a couple of kids, and then he had a couple more. They had a couple more kids, and then we get to Set, Osiris, etc. Whereas other translations say that Cyrus and these ones down here were the direct descendants of Ra. So they're kind of all, we're close enough to kind of figure out which one's which. Now, the story goes, the most important story here is to do with Osiris and Set. Now, because they were more than likely the direct descendants of Ra, they were given half of Egypt each. And Set didn't like that. He wanted to take the whole of Egypt over. And that's where the marrying of the brother, sort of half-sisters, etc. So over the many hundreds of years, Set wanted to take out his brother Osiris to rule the whole of Egypt. And eventually he came up with an idea one day, after many sort of skirmishes between the two, that he would have invite all the gods over to his place, and he created this chest, massive box, and he got the height of Osiris spot on, and he made the box spot on height of Osiris. Now, when all the gods came and they're all having a good laugh and a joke, at the end of the meal, Set brings out this box and says, whoever matches the height of this box wins the prize, or whatever it was that they was trying to pretend that there was. So everyone went into this box, and then the very last person was Osiris, and lo and behold, he was the exact same size as the box. Set's people then locked the box up, and follow the next video. Osiris was trapped in the box alive, and Set's henchmen took the box to the ocean and threw it in. Now, Osiris at this point in time was married to Isis, which was his sister, and the reason why he married his sister is because if they had a kid, that kid would then be succession to the throne and possibly rule the whole of Egypt instead of it being split into half. Now, what Set didn't know is Isis, the wife, stroke sister, went looking for the box and found it, and then took it back. Now, there's a whole new story, so keep watching. It gets even more scary. But you can always tell Osiris because look at his hat. Yeah, it kind of reminds you of someone's hat. And trust me, the Vatican knows a lot more than they let on. They don't have two telescopes. One of them's called Lucifer to look for God. They look up into space for a different reason. Were the Anunnaki reptilians? No, they weren't. This was an idea that David Icke came up with about 20 years ago. And he basically took everything that we know about the Anunnaki, but just added the fact that they're reptilians. There's no record whatsoever of them being reptilians. They do talk about reptiles and snakes, etc., but there's no talk of them being reptilian aliens. And the reason why that's come about is really because of statues like this, which is poorly done, which I don't think was sanctioned by the Anunnaki, compared to the ones that are sanctioned by the Anunnaki. Just look at the quality of that compared to that. Now, if you go back and then believe that the Anunnaki had proper skin and Ra was Marduk, then look, there's no scales on that. And the only reason why he's got dark skin is because he lived in Egypt for hundreds of thousands of years and eventually got tanned, whereas daughters of the Anunnaki have pale skin. So you can see why they would have got suntanned quite clear. I thought I'd just touch on skin colour in ancient Egypt. Now, in my last video I said that I think Ra was suntanned, and that's a logical conclusion, seeing as he was there, at least in the Middle East area, for hundreds of thousands of years. Now, that's a hot area. It's not like England, for example. Now, also here we see that he doesn't have a wife or the mother of these children. So one could have been an Anunnaki, which explains why it's pale, because the Anunnaki original description is pale. And obviously he was an Anunnaki, he was Marduk. So he could have also had relationships with a human, which would have possibly gave a brown child. Now, just to show you how much someone can get suntanned, now this is, you got to remember hundreds of thousands of years, whereas this person here has probably not done hundreds of thousands of years. Well, this one actually does look like they've done hundreds of thousands of years, but that's why I think he had a white child and